Lorentz force. When an electric charge Q is kept at rest in a magnetic field, no force acting on it. At the same time, if the charge moves in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. This force is different from Coulomb force. This force is known as magnetic force. Here we have the magnetic field. The direction of the magnetic field is from north to south. The direction of the current which shows the thumbs up is like that, and the direction of the force is the second finger F. So if the charge is moving in both electric and magnetic fields, the total force experienced by the charge is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B. That's the vector notation. So F vector is equal to Q into V vector cross B vector. So here by Lorentz force, the force on a moving charge in a magnetic field. When an electric charge Q is moving with a velocity V in the magnetic field B, it experiences a force called magnetic force Fm. After careful experiments by Lorentz deduced that the force experienced by a moving charge in the magnetic field Fm is equal to Q into V vector cross B vector, or in magnitude Fm is equal to QVB sin theta, where the Fm is directly proportional to the magnetic field B and it also directly proportional to the velocity and sine of the angle between the velocity and magnetic field. Fm is directly proportional to the magnitude of the charge Q. The direction of the Fm is always perpendicular to the velocity V and the magnetic field B, as Fm is the cross product of V and B. The direction of the Fm on negative charge is opposite to the direction of the Fm on a positive charge, provided other factors are identical. In velocity V of the charge Q is along magnetic field B, then Fm is 0. The direction of positive charge and the negative charge is changed by using the shows of the thumb finger. Definition of Tesla. The strength of the magnetic field is 1. Tesla is unit charge moving in it. With unit velocity experiences the unit force. That is 1 Tesla is equal to 1 ns divided by cm, where n is the Newton and c is the Coulomb. That is equal to 1 n divided by am, that is equal to 1 n a power minus 1, then m power minus 1. Motion of a charged particle in a uniform magnetic field. That means a charge in a uniform magnetic field with a circular motion of a charged particle in a perpendicular uniform magnetic field. Consider a charged particle of charge Q having mass m enter into the region of uniform magnetic field B and velocity v, such that velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field. As soon as the particle enters into the field, Lorentz force acts on it in a direction perpendicular to the both magnetic field B and velocity v. As a result, the charged particles moves in a circular orbit. The Lorentz force on a charged particle is given by F is equal to Q V vector cross B vector. Since Lorentz force alone acts on the particle, the magnitude of net force on the particle is summation of I Fi is equal to Fm is equal to Q velocity B. This Lorentz force acts as a centripetal force for a particle, causing into the execute circular motion. The centripetal forces means a motion of the particle in a circular motion and the force of attraction towards the axis. Therefore, QVB is equal to mv square divided by r. The radius of the circular path is r is equal to mv by qb is equal to, we know that mv, that is the magnitude of the linear momentum of particle. It is denoted by p is equal to mv. Let t is the time taken by the particle to finish one complete circular motion. Then t is equal to 2 pi r by v. So hence we know that R is equal to PQB. So substitute that value in the T, you will get T is equal to 2 pi m divided by QB. Is called cyclotron period. The reciprocal of time period is the frequency. So F is equal to 1 by T. So just inverse the time value T. So F is equal to QB by 2 pi m. In terms of angular frequency, omega is equal to 2 pi f. So omega is equal to 2 by m b. So this equation are called cyclotron frequency or gyro frequency. Motion of a charged particle under crossed electric and magnetic field, that is velocity sector. Consider an electric charge Q of mass m which enters into a region of uniform magnetic field B with velocity v such that velocity is not perpendicular to the magnetic field. Then the path of a particle is a helix. The Lorentz force on the charged particle moving in a uniform magnetic field can be balanced by Coulomb's force by proper arrangement of electric and magnetic field. The Coulomb force acts along the direction of electric field, whereas the Lorentz force is perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. Therefore, in order to balance these forces, both electric and magnetic fields must be perpendicular to each other. Such an arrangement of perpendicular electric and magnetic fields are known as cross fields. Consider an experimental arrangement in the region of space between the parallel plates of a capacitor which produce uniform electric field and uniform magnetic field is maintaining perpendicular to the direction of the electric field. Suppose a charged particle enters this space from the left side. The net force on the particle is F is equal to Q into E vector plus V vector cross B vector. For a positive charge, the electric force on the charge acts in downward direction, whereas the Lorentz force acts upwards. When these two forces balance each other, then QE is equal to QV0B, where V0 is equal to E by P, where E is the electricity and B is the magnetic field. This means for a given magnitude of E field and B field, the force acts only on the particle moving with a particular speed V is equal to E by B. This speed is independent of mass and charge. By proper choice of electric and magnetic fields, the particle with particular speed can be selected. Such an arrangement of field is called a velocity selector. Cyclotron. Scientists Lorentz and Livingston constructed the first cyclotron in 1934, which is used to accelerate the charged particles. To understand how a cyclotron works, consider the motion of a positively charged particles moving with the velocity v and entering perpendicularly uniform magnetic field of intensity b as shown in this figure. The force acting on a charged particle is force vector is equal to Q, that is charge, into V cross B, where V is the velocity and B is the magnetic field. So is equal to QVB, where sin theta is equal to pi by 2. Under the effect of this force, the charged particle perform uniform circular motion in a plane perpendicular to the plane formed by a V and B. So we will get QVB is equal to mv square by r and r is equal to mv by qb. So we know that mv is the momentum, that is p. So r is equal to p by qb, where p is the linear momentum. Then v is equal to r omega c, where omega c is the angular frequency of the cyclotron r is equal to mrwc by qb. And that omega c we know that qb by m, and we know that frequency in terms of frequency qb by 2 pi m. The equation shows that frequency does not depend on the momentum. Hence, on increasing momentum of the particle, the radius of its circular path increases but its frequency does not. So this fact is used in the design of the cyclotron. The figure shows that side view and the top view of the cyclotron. Two D-shaped boxes are kept with the diameters facing each other with a small gap as shown in this figure. A uniform magnetic field is developed in the space enveloped by the two boxes with a strong electromagnet. These two boxes are called Ds as they are D-shaped. The AC of high frequency is applied between the two Ds. Now the device is kept in an evacuator chamber in order to avoid the collision of charged particles with the air molecules. A positively charged particle is released at the center P of the gap at time t is equal to 0. It gets attracted towards the D, which is at a negative potential at that time. It enters the uniform magnetic field between the Ds perpendicularly and perform uniform circular motion in the gap. As there is no electric field inside the Ds, it moves on a circular path of radius depending upon its momentum and comes out of the D after completing a half circle. As the frequency of AC Fa is equal to Fc, the diameter of the opposite D becomes negative. So when the particle emerges from one D and attracts it with a force which increases its momentum. So the particle that enters the other D with larger velocity and hence moves on a circular path of larger radius. This process keeps on repeating and particle gains momentum and hence radius of its circular path goes on increasing, but the frequency remains the same. Thus the charged particle goes on gaining every energy which becomes maximum on reaching the circumference of the Ds. When the particle is at the edge, it is deflected with the help of another magnetic field brought out and allowed to hit the target. Such accelerated particles are used in the study of nuclear reaction, preparation of artificial radioactive substance, treatment of cancer, and ion implementation in solids. So it has the limitations. The speed of the ion is limited. Then electron cannot be accelerated. Uncharged particles cannot be accelerated. So according to the theory of the relativity, as velocity of the particle approaches that of light, its mass goes on increases. In this situation, the condition of resonance Fa is equal to Fc is not satisfied. Force on a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. When a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, the force experienced by a wire is equal to the sum of the Lorentz force on the individual charge carries in the wire. Consider a small segment of wire, length dl, with cross-sectional area A and current I as shown in this figure. The free electrons drift opposite to the direction of the current. So, the relation between current I and the magnitude of drift velocity Vd is I is equal to NeAVd. I is equal to NeAVd, where Vd is the drift velocity and N is the number of charge carriers and E is the charge and A is the cross-sectional area. If the conductor is kept in a magnetic field B, the average force experienced by a charged electron in the conductor is F vector is equal to minus E Vd vector cross B vector. If N is the number of free electrons present in unit volume, then N is equal to N by V, where N is the number of free electrons in the small element of volume V is equal to A dl. Hence, Lorentz force on the elementary section of length dl is the product of number of electrons N is equal to NaDl and the force acting on each electron F vector is equal to minus EnAdl Vd vector cross B vector. The current element in the conductor is IdL vector is equal to minus En A Vd vector dl. Therefore, the force on the small elemental section of the current carrying conductor is dF vector is equal to IdL vector cross B vector. Thus, the force on a straight current carrying conductor of length L placed in a uniform magnetic field is F total is equal to IL vector cross B vector. In magnitude, F total is equal to BIL sin theta. We have two conditions. First one, if the conductor is placed along the direction of the magnetic field, the angle then theta is equal to 0. Hence, the force experienced by a conductor is 0. If the conductor is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field, then the angle theta 90 degree. Hence, the force experienced by the conductor is maximum, which is F total is equal to BIL. By Fleming Leftan's rule, when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, the direction of the force experienced by is given by Fleming Leftan rule. Simply, we can say FLHR. The stretched forefinger, middle finger and the thumb of the left hand such that they are mutually perpendicular direction. If the forefinger points the direction of the magnetic field, then the middle finger points the direction of the electric current, then the thumb will point the direction of force experienced by the conductor. Force between two long parallel current carrying conductors. We have considered two long straight parallel conductor which is having current separated by a distance r and kept it in a air. Let I1 and I2 is the electric current passing through a conductor A and B in the same direction, that is along Z direction. The net magnetic field at a distance r due to the current I1 in current, that is conductor A, we can write it as B1 is equal to nu naught I1 by 2 pi r. It is in direction of I minus I cap is equal to minus nu naught I1 divided by 2 pi r I. From thumb rule, the direction of magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane of the paper and inverse. So, along the negative I direction, let us consider a small element length dl in conductor B at which the magnetic field B1 is present. So, the Lorentz force on the element dl of a conductor B is dF vector is equal to I2 dl vector cross B1 vector. That is equal to I2 dl mu naught I1 by 2 pi r k cap cross I cap. So, simplify, you will write minus mu naught I1 I2 dl divided by 2 pi r j cap. Therefore, the force on dl of the wire B is directed towards the conductor A. So, the element of length dl is B attracted towards the conductor A. Hence, the force per unit length of the conductor B due to the current in the conductor A is F vector by L is equal to minus nu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi r j cap. Similarly, the magnetic induction due to the current I2 in conductor B at a distance r in the elemental length dl of conductor A is B2 vector is equal to nu naught I2 by 2 pi r I cap. From the thumb rule, the direction of the magnetic field is perpendicular to the paper outwards. So, along the positive I direction, hence the magnetic force acting on element dl of the conductor A is dF vector is equal to I1 dl into B2. So, this is equal to mu naught I1 I2 dl divided by 2 pi r j cap. Therefore, the force on dl of conductor A is directed towards the conductor B. So, the length dl is attracted towards the conductor B. Current in both the conductors are in the same direction, it attracts each other. Current in opposite direction is experience a repulsive force. Force acting per unit length of the conductor A due to the current in conductor B is F vector by L nu naught, that is equal to nu naught I1 I2 divided by 2 pi r j cap. Thus, the force between two parallel current carrying conductor is attractive if they current in the same direction. Thus, the force experienced by two parallel current carrying conductor is repulsive if they carry current in the opposite direction. Definition of ampere. 1 ampere is defined as that current, the constant current which when passed through each of two infinite long parallel straight conductor kept side by side parallelly at a distance of 1 meter apart in air or vacuum causes each conductor to experience a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 newtons per meter length of conductor. This is the definition of ampere.
Torque experienced by a current loop in a uniform magnetic field. Let us consider a rectangular loop PQRS of length L and breadth B. It carries a current of I along PQRS. The loop is placed in a uniform magnetic field of induction B. Let theta be the angle between the normal to the plane of the loop and the direction of the magnetic field. Force on the arm QR, vector F1 is equal to vector I into QR cross B vector. Since the angle between I into QR and vector B is 90 degree minus theta, magnitude of the force F1 is equal to BIB sine 90 degrees minus theta. That is, F1 is equal to BIB cos theta. Force on the arm SP, vector F2 is equal to I into SP cross B vector. Since the angle between I into SP and vector B is 90 degree plus theta, magnitude of the force F2 is equal to BIB cos theta. The forces F1 and F2 are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and have the same line of action. Hence, the resultant effect on the loop is 0. Force on the arm PQ, vector F3 is equal to vector I into PQ cross B vector. Since the angle between vector I into PQ and vector B is 90 degree, magnitude of the force F3 is equal to BIL sine 90 degree is equal to BIL. F3 acts perpendicular to the plane of the paper and outwards. Force on the arm RS, vector F4 is equal to vector I into RS cross vector B. Since the angle between vector I into RS and vector B is 90 degree, magnitude of the force F4 is equal to BIL sine 90 degree is equal to BIL. F4 acts perpendicular to the plane of the paper and inwards. The forces F3 and F4 are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and have different lines of action. So, they constitute a couple. Hence, torque is equal to BIL into PN is equal to BIL into PS into sine theta is equal to BIL into B sine theta is equal to BIA sine theta. If the coil contains n turns, tau is equal to NBIA sine theta. So, the torque is maximum when the coil is parallel to the magnetic field and 0 when the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Coil galvanometer. Moving coil galvanometer is a device used for measuring the current in a circuit. Principle. Moving coil galvanometer works on the principle that a current carrying coil placed in a magnetic field experiences a torque. Construction. It consists of a rectangular coil of a large number of turns of thin insulated copper wire wound over a light metallic frame. The coil is suspended between the pole pieces of a horseshoe magnet by a fine phosphor bronze strip from a movable torsion head. The lower end of the coil is connected to a hairspring of phosphor bronze having only a few turns. The other end of the spring is connected to a binding screw. A soft iron cylinder is placed symmetrically inside the coil. The hemispherical magnetic poles produce a radial magnetic field in which the plane of the coil is parallel to the magnetic field in all its positions. A small plane mirror M attached to the suspension wire is used along with a lamp and a scale arrangement to measure the deflection of the coil. Theory. Let PQRS be a single turn of the coil. A current I flows through the coil. In a radial magnetic field, the plane of the coil is always parallel to the magnetic field. Hence, the sides QR and SP are always parallel to the field. So, they do not experience any force. The sides P, Q and RS are always perpendicular to the field. PQ is equal to RS is equal to L, length of the coil, and PS is equal to QR, that is equal to B, breadth of the coil, force on PQ. For VI into PQ is equal to VIL. According to Fleming's left-hand rule, this force is normal to the plane of the coil and acts outwards. Force on RS, F is equal to VI into RS is equal to VIL. This force is normal to the plane of the coil and acts inwards. These two equal, oppositely directed parallel forces having different lines of action constitute a couple and deflect the coil. If there are n turns in the coil, moment of the deflecting couple is equal to NVIL into B is equal to NVIA. When the coil deflects, the suspension wire is twisted. On account of elasticity, a restoring couple is set up in the wire. This couple is proportional to the twist. If theta is the angular twist, then moment of the restoring couple is equal to C theta, where C is the restoring couple per unit twist. At equilibrium, deflecting couple is equal to restoring couple. NVIA is equal to C theta. I is equal to C divided by NVA into theta. I is equal to K theta, where K is equal to C divided by NVA is the galvanometer constant, that is, I directly proportional to theta. Since the deflection is directly proportional to the current flowing through the coil, the scale is linear and is calibrated to give directly the value of the current.